Thank you guys very much for joining us on this third episode. I would like to thank our sponsor, New Voltage Electric. He was one of our first guests. Thank you very much. All right, guys, if you guys hire New Voltage Electric, send me a picture, and I'll give you guys a shout out on the next video. Thank you very much, Mario, for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate you, brother, and I hope you get a lot of business. Good afternoon, guys. This is another episode 3. I want to welcome Andres over here. He's going to share a little bit more about his story, where he comes from. He's the owner and co-founder of Tire Depot. So I'm going to let him explain you guys a little bit of who he is and his background.
Thank you, Vic. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here. And I also want to congratulate you on this accomplishment, because it was a vision that you had and you brought it to life. So I want to thank you on that. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, brother.
So a little bit about myself. My name's Andres. I'm an extension of my dad. So my story goes back to where my dad was born and my mom. We're from Zacatecas. My dad is from a small rancho. My mom is from a small rancho as well, close to Jerez, Zacatecas.
Nice.
So growing up, my dad grew up in the ranch, like I told you. Up until 15, he had a sudden change in his life. At the age of 15, he left from that small rancho to Mexico City. So as you can imagine, it's a big change going from a small population of maybe like 300 people, going from a ranch that everybody knows each other, to a big metropolitan city like Ciudad de Mexico was a big shift for him. Being there, he was there from the age of 15 to 20. He got experience as a jeweler. Was there for about 5 years. After that, he immigrated to the U.S. So now we're in the year, maybe like year 85, 1985. Getting to the U.S., he started as a welder here and worked a couple of jobs, got more experience as a welder, and in the year 1989 is when he got introduced to the tire business.
So your dad is actually the one that started with the dream of the tire business?
Correct, yeah. So I'm going to tell you a story. It's actually how he got into the business, which is kind of a little bit interesting.
Okay.
So in year 89, starting the year, he got presented with the opportunity he had no knowledge of tires, nothing. So his brother tells him, hey, you know what? There's a shop that is available for lease. His brother had been currently leasing it.
Okay. Was he in the tire business or no?
No, nothing.
Okay.
So no tires as of now, nothing.
Okay.
So he tells him, hey, you know what? There's this shop. It's blank. No hay nada. There's nothing there. But the rent's cheap. I'm leaving, so I think you should take over. So my dad was like, kind of a lot of doubts.
Yeah.
So he's like, long story short, he ends up leasing it. Yeah. So for the first 4 months, he's leasing, paying the rent with nothing. He didn't know what to start. So the shop is there, but nothing is in there. So fast forward 4 months, he's still a welder at this time.
Yeah. Was he welding at the location or no?
No, separate.
Okay,
So the shop is by itself.
Okay.
So then he does a side job as a welder.
Yeah.
A customer comes in, hey, you know what? I need you to, can you go weld something at my location?
Yeah.
So he goes out. It ends up being he goes to weld at a tire shop. So then the guy tells him, when it's time for payment, he tells him, hey, you know what? I have a shop. I'm gonna pay you with tires. So my dad's like, what do you mean? Like, I need cash. I'm behind like 4 months on my rent. So long story short, he accepts, and the guy pays him with 200 tires.
Holy shit.
So and my dad has zero experience, zero knowledge, and zero money, like no money. So he's like, I need money to pay the rent. I'm behind 4 months. Anyways, so it happens. He tells him, all right, just come bring the tires. Leave him. I actually have a shop, so leave him. So he leaves him there at the shop. After that, 2 more months pass, and he has all these tires sitting there. So eventually, his brother starts telling him, "Hey, like, what are you gonna do? What's up with all these tires?" Eventually, he borrows money, he gets a machine, and he starts from there. So from there on, he starts getting knowledge, getting kind of moving. At this time, there's only small tires, size 13, 14s, 15s. We're talking about small
Small cars.
like small passenger tires.
So you're telling me that your dad was a welder and accidentally went into the tire business.
Exactly. With
But-
no knowledge, no anything.
What happened to the welding business? At this point, at what point did he decide, well, I guess I'll just go into the tire business? What happened there? What was the transition there?
Well, what happened? Well, I think what actually committed him to actually go all in on the tires was the fact that
He already had the tires.
he had to produce, come up with the rent. He was behind like 6 months on rent, so now he fell.
It was out of necessity.
Like a commitment, yeah, out of necessity, yeah. So he said, "Hey, I have the product here. The shop already had like a compressor, like an old one, and people started telling him, hey, you know what? Just buy a machine, and we'll help you out." So that's kind of how we started, and from there, that was the year '89, and later on in that year is when I come into the picture. That's when I was born. So I like to think that I was born into the tire business.
That's very interesting. So you were born in the year
'89.
'89. So your dad that's when your dad basically came into the business of the tire business.
Right.
Okay. So going from there, right? I know that your story relates a lot to your dad and where he comes from, right? I understand that he's an extension of you because from what I can hear, you look up to him in that sense, right?
Right.
But who is Andres as a person?
Right. So starting off, I'm gonna give you a little bit of just background, like how I grew up. So like I said, I grew into the tire business. I like to think. So growing up, from what I can remember, about 4 or 5 years old, my dad was always taking us everywhere. I'm one out of 4 brothers. I'm the second oldest. So
All boys.
all boys, yeah.
Wow.
So from what I can remember, he was taking us everywhere, taking us to buy tires, to deliver, to make payments, to collect material, anything that you could think of. My mom didn't want us at home. Me and my older brother grew up together. We're 2 years apart.
Yeah.
And then following, my younger brothers came into the picture later on.
And I met your brothers, bro. They look identical to you, dude. Like, I'm just like, God damn, like your dad freaking duplicated you guys. Because I look at them and I'm like, holy shit, they look just like Andres.
Yeah.
That's interesting, dude.
So it's interesting because the brother I grew up with, the older one, we're only 2 years apart. He's kind of he's not into the tire. He's not in the tire business now. So he does kind of his own thing. So but I grew up with him. So from the age of like 5 to I want to say like 13, I lived at the shop, bro. Like,
you were in and out.
I was something very peculiar about my situation, about my childhood. The shop is in South Central.
Okay.
And I grew up in South Central. The shop and my house were literally right next to each other. I'm talking about the shop, a house, and then our house on a main boulevard. So with that being said, I was always at the shop. I'm talking about after school, vacations, summer, winter, Christmas, on my
Basically
birthday, bro. I was there all the time, like all the time. So with that being said, I grew kind of like a resentment, bro. Like I hated it. So I didn't want to be there. So from like the age of 5 to 13, like middle school, like right before high school, I was at the shop all the time, and I had something to do. My dad had us working. Like, you know how it is with kids.
Child
like
labor.
You'll find something. You could never tell them, hey, ya acabé, because
there's always something to do.
There's something ready. So I already knew. I would kind of gauge them, like, shit, like, what should I won't tell them. I'll keep working here. Yeah. So if I'll tell them, hey, I'm done with this. All right, go do that. Go clean the racks over there. Go clean these rims over here. So I grew like resentment towards the business.
Towards the business.
Yeah. So
from what you're saying, right? You guys basically live there. Would you say that kind of molded you into the person that you are now based on the fact that he involved you in basically all of the doings in the business. Would you say that that's something that now that you're older, you kind of understand why he did that?
Yeah, definitely. Now that I'm older, obviously I have a different mentality. So now I see that all the benefits that come out of involving your kids, and because now I have a 2-year-old son of my own.
Yeah.
So back then I would think, man, why was he at like 4 or 5 years old? He was already like taking me. But now I take my little boy, I take him at 2 years old. So now I take him and I involve him, and now I see like,
you can relate to what your dad was trying to do with you.
right? And I see like he's very smart. You're already capable of. I'm sure you know you have kids. They're already capable of understanding things and putting concepts together, and then it's also a bonding experience. So now I do that with my son.
I think it's very interesting that you're saying that because I have a 9-year-old, and she loves going to work with me, dude. And it's, I would say that I didn't get to have that experience just because my dad wasn't in the picture. But to me, to be able to do that for her, it's amazing, dude. Like, I love it. I love talking to clients in front of her because she's able to understand, right? And it's funny because I tell my wife, my daughters are more toxicas than my wife because I cannot just get up and talk to girl clients because they'll be like, oh, they'll come home and they'll be like, hey, Mom, my dad was talking to his girlfriend. Like that, dude. But I think it's funny, though. But my 9-year-old just does it now jokingly, dude. Like you're saying, they understand, dude. They're very smart. I can tell you that probably like my 3-year-old it's way smarter than how I was when I was 3 years old, dude.
Right.
Like these kids now are so advanced that you're like, holy shit, dude. Like you're fucking smart.
Yeah.
You know. But it's the reality that we live in now, dude. It's just there's so much access to things that it makes it easier for them to like develop faster.
Right.
But going back to your story, bro. So at this point, I know you mentioned that you grew up in South Central. How was that experience? Because I grew up in South Central, but every story is different.
Yeah.
What is your experience in that?
You know, my parents did a good job of, I guess you could say, keeping us safe. Like, kind of. I mean, I'm sure
kept you guys away from the.
Yeah, as soon as you hear South Central, I feel like everybody says the same thing: gangs, which is true. Gangs, drugs, a lot of crime, bad activity, and I felt like I'm very grateful that they did a great job of keeping us away from danger, pretty much, to summarize it. But but it helped a lot too because you kind of get that street smart.
Yep.
So I'm grateful that I grew up in South Central up until the age of like 14, 15. And then they were able to move us to another city. Yeah. But to answer your question, I think it benefited me a lot because I was able to learn a lot and just be around that environment. So that the shop is still around that area. So I still frequent that area a lot. And it's crazy because nothing has changed.
Yep.
I'm talking about like 30 plus years and everything's literally the same.
All right, Andres. So a little bit more about you, brother, because obviously I want people to understand who you are. Where did you go to high school? How was that experience?
So like I was mentioning, from the age of like 5 to 13, elementary, middle school, I was always at the shop, so I grew like resentment towards it. After I went into high school, I wasn't that present at the shop because now I was more involved in sports, in school. I went to a couple different high schools because of I was very involved with soccer. So I got a scholarship. I played in high school, moved to another one, and but during this time it consumed all my time. Pretty much high school sports. So fast forward, and after I graduated, my mentality now was just geared on nothing with tire related. I was now
just focus on yourself. Basically.
I was focused on pretty much on obtaining my bachelor's degree. I was my older brother had gone straight to USC, so he was like a big influence for me. So I was in my mind, I was like, I need to get my bachelor's, and that's my way of kind of making it.
Yeah, which college did you end up going to?
I graduated from Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Oh, Dominguez Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, bro.
Yeah, so during the maybe 18, 19, as a 18, 19, 20-year-old, I was community college and doing all that. I picked up selling cars. I started flipping cars.
Oh,
It's something
nice.
that I learned from my dad when I was a kid. He would do that along with the whole tire business.
So he'll buy used cars and resell them.
Yeah, he'll buy them at auctions and sell them. So it's something that was it was intriguing to me, like the whole process of getting something. I enjoyed the process of seeing it crash, fix, and then like.
Oh, so
until
you were
sell
doing
it.
the whole thing. So you would basically get them like, let's just say, right, like they were totaled, and you will fix them up and
different. Sometimes total, sometimes just minor hits, but.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so pretty much I was doing that from 18 to like 25. So somewhere in the middle of this, like around 23, I started going back to the shop, just like on Saturdays or on my free time, and I was presented with an opportunity to have my own shop. So my dad approached me and he said, "Hey, you know what? There's this new location that it's available for lease. If you want, like I could help you out, support you, and you'll be there. It'll be your shop pretty much."
Okay.
So I thought about it and I was like, well, let's do it. So I felt like, it's a good opportunity. I was still in school all this time, but I figured that I had his like
Support.
backup, his
Yeah.
support. So I was like, let's do it.
At this point, what was the name of that company, or what was
It
the
was
name?
it was just so it was Alvarado Tires 2 pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like our second location.
Oh, nice.
And it was also in South Central, relatively close to my dad's current shop.
So you guys were pretty close by. You had his support, and you were like, "Yeah, let's just do it."
Right. Yeah. So
When it came to the money, was it a big investment? And I'm just asking you just because of the people. Like, let's just say we have somebody that would like to open a shop or something like that.
Right.
What does it take to open a tire shop?
So in that particular case, it was not it was not a big investment because
Everything was there.
everything like the fundamentals were kind of were given to me by my dad.
Oh,
so as far
nice.
as he helped me to start it off, so a machine and the inventory was a little bit, but enough to start. And then a couple months into it, I started on my own and got my own tires and built my own accounts and purchased another machine, got another employee, and then kind of went along that way.
Nice. So I know that you said that the basics were there, but let's just say, right, if they weren't there, what was your plan? Was it a shop that was already existing, or was it something where it was just an office space and there was an opportunity to rent it to become a tire shop, or what was it? Okay, what situation in there?
Yeah, it wasn't prior. It wasn't any type of shop, so it was like a blank slate. So it was pretty much we had to bring everything in as far as like machinery and inventory, but
So you guys had to build basically from the ground.
yeah, pretty
regardless.
much. So, but keep in mind at this time, my whole mindset was still to get my bachelor's and go that route.
Because you were still in school at this point.
Yeah, I was still in school, so I didn't consider myself that I wasn't 100% in on the tire business. So back to the stories as I was going. So I'm here at the shop. I'm here like maybe 3 years up until I graduate until I get my bachelor's.
Okay.
So once I get my bachelor's, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm good, I'm set.
Ya la
Like,
hiciste.
yeah,
You're like,
so
oh,
I'm-
ya se armó, ya estuvo.
yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna start getting all these offers. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna get a good job. My mentality is the traditional route, I guess. Like I did good. My last couple of years, I got straight A's, did the whole thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm ready to get that. I'm
You're ready to
that
get
good
hands-on
job.
in
Yeah.
the field.
Yeah. So
Well, what did you go to school for, if you don't mind me asking? What was your major?
yeah. So it was a business major with
Oh, okay.
Like emphasis on marketing, like
Oh, nice.
advertising. Yeah. So here comes a big like shock to me. I graduate. I have my actually before I got my bachelor's, I started applying everywhere in my field, It takes me 1 year. In 1 year, I didn't get anything, any jobs, like nothing.
Shit.
So in my head, I'm like, damn, I feel let down. Like I did the whole, I did the whole
You did the
traditional
whole
route.
process.
Yeah,
You did
bro,
the
I
whole
did.
like go to school, get good grades. You're gonna get a good job, and then you're like, bam, you get hit
Exactly.
with
Yeah, I get
the
hit
wake
with
up call.
with reality, bro. So that was a big reality check for me. So I'm waiting. I'm applying everywhere. I'm waiting. Now my mentality is more like I need to buy a house. Like I
Yeah.
need to start investing, start securing a little bit,
Yeah.
get a property, all that. So uh, a whole year passes by. I start like kind of freaking out. Like, man, what's going on? Uh, I end up getting an opportunity to join, like to get a stable job. A family friend of mine that had, he knows me since I was small. He ends up presenting to me an opportunity to have a stable job, the traditional good job, six figures, uh, benefits,
Everything, the whole thing.
health, insurance, a lot of overtime. So I'm like, you know what? Where do I sign, bro? Like, I've been waiting.
Sign me up,
I've
coach.
been waiting for a year. Like, shoot it. Like, when do I start? So finally, I start at this job.
Yeah.
And I'm all in on this job. Like, the
mindset completely
tires
changed.
doesn't exist to me. I'm like, this is my ticket.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go all in. So I'm all in on my job. So my mentality is I need to save up, do overtime, do all this, and I'm gonna buy a house. So I'm 26 at this
Yeah.
age. So I go in all in. I'm working, save up a year and a half. Boom, I buy the first house. So another year goes by. I buy the second house. The next year, I build the ADU in the back house. That's when I met you along
Yeah.
that time. The year right after that, I build another ADU. So now I'm thinking,
Yeah.
now I'm reaching my goals.
Yeah.
The what I had, tires are still
In the
not
background.
really in the background. Yeah. So now something else happens during this time, during maybe like the third or fourth year of me working at this job. I start getting people recognize me from. They start telling me, "Hey, doesn't your dad have the shop? Don't you sell tires?" I'm like, "Yeah, like yeah, that's my dad's
Yeah.
shop, but yeah, I could help you out." But now I have like a certain
switch in
like
your
a mind change. When I was 18 out of high school, I was kind of embarrassed, to be honest, about
Yeah.
the tire business. If people would tell me you work with tires, I'll be like, nah, that's my dad. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
going to
his
school.
business.
I'm going to school. Like in my head.
Yeah.
And again, this is me being young.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, nah, I'm gonna do better. Like
Yeah.
that's my dad's thing. Like
Because you had a whole different vision for yourself and your
Right.
mindset, right? At this point, do you think that mindset was because your brother was going to USC, or do you think it was just the rebel years where you were like, oh well, screw this, like that's not what I want to do, because it happens. That's the reality. You're young. You think, oh, there's a bigger vision for myself. There's a bigger thing for myself. So I don't want to be part of this business.
Yeah,
Was
you
that
know
something that?
That's a good question. I think it was primarily, I was heavily influenced by my older brother because he kind of set
High
a
bar.
high standard for me, which I mean I'm grateful for. So part of it was I don't think it was really being rebellious. I think it was more my brother influenced me, and it was also the fact of my childhood having like resentment towards it. So in my mind I was like, I don't want anything to do with it at the age of 18. So fast forward to when I'm telling you at 26, 27, 28, when I'm at my
Current
stable
job.
job, yeah. So now there's a sudden shift, like a switch, where now I'm like, people start asking me, hey, they found out, like people found out, or word of mouth,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't tell people, but somehow people found out. So they told me, hey, you know what? Hey, is it true that you have this and that? I was like, so I started embracing it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do.
You're like, yeah, fuck yeah,
I'm
this
like,
is who I am, man.
What do you need? Yeah. So I was like, what do you need? I got you. So, hey, I have this car, this and that, but I don't know the size. What car is it? Honda Accord Sport. Oh no, I got you. I know what it is. 235 4019. I got it. I have it. They're like, oh, like how do you know? I'm like, but I already had all this.
Yeah, because you already
I
had it
have
in the
all
back
this.
of your head.
So long story short, I have a sudden like shift in myself, and that's a turning point in my life where I embrace the tire business. So I feel like at this point I took it up like I started growing from there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people started word of mouth, like I said, people started recognizing me, and anything that I could do to help someone as far as like service or anything, I would treat them like I'll do whatever I could for people and just treat them fair and genuinely try to help out. So
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're in business, it all comes down to customer service. It all comes down to the way you treat people. Obviously, the way you treat people, they'll come back. They'll be like, oh, you know what? Let me refer this guy to somebody else. And that's just the way the word of mouth goes, right? You know, they start referring you people, they start sending you people over, and that's the way that you grow your business. So I know you mentioned that at this point you were still working, right? Do you think that you already started at this point to have a vision to where you wanted to head the tire business, or was it still undecisive in that part?
right. So at this point where I embrace it, I start growing. People start recognizing me. That plus I guess the old clientele that I had when I had my own shop. That was for about 3 years. I start growing, and now that's when I start triggering more of a vision in regards to the future and growing in general. After this there's another important event in my life that kind of geared me more towards the tires.
Towards pushing you
Towards pushing me, yeah. So maybe like about 4 or 5 years into
your job?
my job, I started noticing that my younger brother, there's a 12-year gap between me and him. I started noticing that he's very motivated with the tire business.
Yeah.
So I see that and I take notice, because all this time it's always been in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But now this is different because now I have some support. So now I can have someone que me haga segunda.
Yeah.
So before it was just me, like by myself.
Yeah.
So whenever I had an idea, it would be pushed back because I didn't have any other support. My dad's old school. When I would present an idea to him, he was very quick, very dismissive to.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of older people in let's just say like a different generation, right? They put a lot of thought into it, and I strongly believe that if you doubt yourself, you'll never make it. So
Right.
to me, it's just like if you have an idea, like I'm willing to take the risk. You know, obviously you have to risk with what you know you can lose.
Right.
Right? And I'm sure you thought of risk and you're like, shit, let me bring it up to my dad because he knows the business. And then it'll bring you down
Right.
because he wasn't in that space where, where you were. As
Right.
in, shit, let's take the risk and, if we win, we win. But it's understandable, dude. A lot of the Hispanic people, and I can't stress this enough, dude. A lot of the Hispanic people focus too much in stability. And because they are so comfortable in an area where it's like, if I take risk, what if I lose? And it's like, dude, what if you win?
Right.
You
yeah.
will never know if you do it, and if you win, shit, hell yeah, you go to the next level. But if you're always stuck in that mindset where it's like, and I have a lot of family members that are the same way, dude. They'll be like, oh, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it's like, dude, let me make my own mistakes. If I screw it up, then hey, shit, I paid for it. I'm dealing with it, But that's I would say that's one of the big things that a lot of us, and now that you're a parent, I hope not to make that mistake with my kids. Like if my kids have an idea, shit, let's do it.
Right.
What can we lose, dude?
Yeah, I mean.
Shit, nothing is promised. Tomorrow we don't fucking wake up. That's it. It's a done deal. You didn't get to try it, and that dream is done.
Right.
So I know you mentioned that this was how many years ago was when that mindset changed?
That was maybe like 4 years ago.
And at this point, you had Alvarado tires too, or was it not active anymore?
No, it was. So I pretty much had when I got my bachelor's degree. When I started my current job, yeah, I let go of the business because I went
main
all
focus.
in. Yeah, I went all in on my job. Yeah, so I had like a total of like 3 years is what I had when I pretty much had it up until I got my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
Yeah, and joined my current job.
So at what point did Tire Depot come up? At what
Right.
point did you had that vision for this business?
Right. So once I noticed that my younger brother was very motivated and was I saw that he had potential and that he had a vision as well. That's when I always had ideas. My mind
Yep.
is always generating, bro. Like, so now I started presenting these ideas to him. So this whole time I had taken notice that there was that we could purchase wholesale containers from overseas. So that idea had been in my mind for a while, but I didn't have pretty much any support. So
Yeah.
I present this idea to my brother. I tell him, hey, you know what? I noticed that so and so is doing this. They're purchasing wholesale containers. What do you think about? Let's research it and let's see if we could do it. Like we'll cut pretty much like the middleman, and we'll kind of do it ourselves. We already have. My dad is a retailer.
Yeah.
He has 35 years of like
Experience.
steady clientele, and I told him it's a risk, but like let's do it. We'll be good. So that starts generating. We pretty much make a plan, contact people, and starting January this year is when we get our first container from overseas.
So you would say that at this point, your younger brother was the one that played a big role when it came to actually doing that inspiration part on your
Yeah,
side.
definitely. Yeah. So definitely, with his support, my mind kind of just started flowing. So now I start because now I don't have any obstacles
Yep.
in my vision. Now there's actually someone kind of supporting it, or at least not shutting me down.
Yeah, going with it.
Yeah,
basically,
going with
just
it.
going with it. And I think that having a team or at least a teammate, dude, it's something like amazing, bro. Like I tell my wife all the time, like I wish I had a brother that will fucking go with my crazy ideas, dude.
Yeah.
Because I see like I'm not sure if you follow, but I see Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, and I'm like, fuck, I love that, dude. Why? Because they have a bond where it's like it doesn't matter, bro. We get in a fight. If it's 5, we're still fighting, dude. Like I don't care. Like I'll jump for you.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think
definitely.
that that's very important, just because sometimes we as humans and us as men, we want that support, where it's like, I'm willing to take the risk with you, dude. Like, I believe in you. And I think that that's something that your brother played a role in.
Yeah.
Where because you knew he had your back, you were willing to take that risk, which is
Right.
fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, we're this Tire Depot is year 1. So this is my dad has 35 plus years of experience of having his shop, and now this is a separate branch.
Yep.
Still together, but different, a little bit different branch.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a supporter, like, you guys will support each other regardless. Why? Because
Right.
he's still
Yeah,
your
yeah.
dad, right?
Yeah.
But how complicated is it to now that you are doing the wholesaling? How complicated is that part though? Like the background part of it.
Yeah. So, well, just to explain, so Tire Depot it's a wholesale tire distributors. So, in short, it's distributors to local retail shops, such as my dad's shop.
And how do you get those retail shops? So do you go out there knocking doors, calling people, or are you basically having your dad connecting you with these people? What is that process? How does that process look like?
So, currently, how we started off, it's literally like door knocking. So, like doing everything, pretty much doing a price sheet, like sizes, comparing local competitors' prices, and literally going to every shop locally and also like further out and beating people's prices pretty much.
Who would you say is one of your major competitors at this point?
Well, there's big distributors. We're on the smaller side currently. So, I mean, there's a couple like local shops local distributors that we kind of keep up with and pretty much like compete with the prices.
I do notice though, because I follow your social media page, that you do focus a lot into marketing. Like, do you believe that is because of your background in school, or do you believe it's just because you really enjoy this business, is the way that you want to share it?
Yeah, I think it comes into play my background, but also I just see how it's like modern day. How modern day is that you need to kind of
Be active
show,
everywhere.
yeah, and have it. People need to see it pretty much. So I'm also getting started with that. It's something that I hope to grow in the future, but currently I know the importance of it, and I know that we need to keep evolving with it, and pretty much you need to keep up with it.
So let's just say somebody recommends you a client, and they want just tires for, let's just say, a Honda Accord. That's something that you can also provide, right? Like, your business is not just focusing on just wholesaling.
Right. So currently we're doing, if I was to break it down, maybe, so Tire Depot is doing like 80% wholesale and like 20% retail. So we have both avenues. So, and then on top of that, my dad has the retail shop that is 100% retail. So we're doing both to answer your question.
And how do you manage the finances in this?
It's literally me, my younger brother, well, my two younger brothers. My younger brother, 12-year gap, and then my other younger brother, he's 7 years younger than me. So he's our driver. So so currently it's all family. And
Nice.
as far as my role, currently I'm taking more of the administrative role. So
Nice.
you mentioned finance. So I'm more administrative operations, coordinating logistics. So
So you're more on the background of it. They're basically
Right,
the
yeah.
the face. They're the ones that show up, and they're the
Right.
ones that do that.
yeah, I definitely have to give credit to them. They're the ones putting in a lot of work, and they're spearheading this whole operation. But together, collaboratively, we're working towards the same goal.
Andres, if you can tell yourself, let's just say at 15 years old, what would be something that you would tell yourself at that age? Now that obviously you're an older person.
Yeah, I think to anyone I think 15 years is kind of an age where you don't really know where you want to go in life. But I think to someone that kind of has an idea or wants to go into a certain field, what I would recommend now, being in my current mindset, I'll recommend for them to do a lot of research in whatever field they have interest in. And second, to find a mentor that's like someone that's in the place where they would want to be in like 10, 15 years, and ask if they could, I guess, just volunteer, like some type of internship, pretty much work for free. So someone that can kind of take them under their wing. That way they could really see if they could get,
That's what they want to
if
do.
they want to do, yeah. And if at this point they really want to do it, then 3, I would make a plan and take a calculated risk, and then just go all in pretty much. I mean, I know 15 is a young age, but it's still, you're still able to
Understand.
find
You
out
can understand.
what you're into. And a lot of people go into certain businesses at a young age, and they end up being successful.
So if you could look back in time, who do you think played a big role in your life now, in the man that you are now? Because I understand that you're a father now. Who do you think played a big role in that part?
I think my dad for sure played a big role, just by him being there like as a mentor. But he was always there, but in a way he wasn't there. Like I don't have a bond with him as far as I don't know. I guess your traditional
Yeah.
like I don't know. Well, someone might have as far as like I don't know. They give you advice
Hanging
and
out
stuff like
together
that.
and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I mean, it is what it is.
Would you say right now that if you were to call him like, hey, Dad, like, come and drink a beer with me, do you think he'll show up?
You know what? I don't have that. I can't do that, bro. Like, I know it sounds kind of weird, but we don't have that bond like that. But I'm very grateful that
That he was present.
he's always been there, but at the same time, so it's like he's always been there, but he hasn't been there. So it's kind of like, what do you choose? Would you rather have someone present,
Yeah.
like a dad that's physically there, but won't like, I don't know, like give you advice, stuff like that? Like, I'm gonna tell you something, and you probably, I don't know, you probably think it's funny or whatever, or sad, but I don't remember him giving me, like growing up, like any advice, bro. Like as far as I don't know, like learn like this how you shave, like your typical like,
Yeah.
or like
this is
hey,
how you get
this
a
how
girlfriend.
yeah,
or-
like this is how you talk to girls. Like I legit winged everything like myself, but I'm 100% grateful that he was there, and I'm currently 100% grateful that I feel like I'm blessed that I get to be with him, and I get to just be around him. I'm the type that I think I'm like eternally indebted to him and my mom, like my whole life, bro. Like I wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for them.
Would you say that now that you have a son, would you say that you would like for that relationship to be different? Or what are your thoughts in that part?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good subject because I understand he wasn't with me. Like I'm talking about like
Yeah.
I mentioned he's from the rancho.
Yeah.
Like this guy grew up. He got zero affection from his dad.
Yeah.
And in turn, he did the same thing with us.
Yep.
Zero affection, discipline, heavy.
Yeah.
I'm talking heavy. And me and my older brother, we took all the heat, and the younger ones,
It's always like that, bro.
there's a 7-year gap between me and the third
other
one,
one.
and these guys they
got
didn't
the
get
soft
touched, bro. So I always tell them, hey, me and my older brother, we took all the heat. You guys are welcome.
I tell my wife all the time, dude, because like I mentioned to you, I grew up without a dad, but to me, like I have a son now, right? And I've always wanted a son. I tell my wife at some point when we had my 2 girls, I'm like, I'm gonna have a son, even if we have 10 kids, dude. I don't care.
Damn.
And why? Because to me, right? To me, I felt I would say that I felt, because I didn't have that father figure, I felt like for me, I wanted to have a son to be that difference, right? To show that I can be that person that I didn't have, right? So now that I have my son, my wife tells me, you're a little tougher with the boy than with the girls. But to me, I just see it in a way where, bro, as a man, nobody asks you how you're really doing. What is your answer? I'm good.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's all you're getting, dude. That's all you're getting. So to me, it's just like, at some point, he's going to grow up, but at the same time, I want him to know that I love him.
Yeah.
You know, that if he was to call me, hey, Dad, I'm there. Like, I'm not asking no questions, dude. Like, I'm showing up and that's it. You know, and to me, it's just a different mindset now that I have my son. I am tougher with him rather than my girls, but I see it in a way where he knows that he can still come to me. You know, he knows that I want to be able to show him, like, hey, son, this is the way that you treat a girl.
Right.
You know, and I'm showing him that way in the way that I'm treating his mom. You know, to me, that plays a big role because I didn't see that when I was growing up. Just like you, nobody gave me no advice. Nobody fucking told me, oh, don't go in there and this. Nobody told me anything. So for me, the only thing that I knew was, dude, like, go out there and, like you said, wing it yourself. Figure it out. You know, and thank God, dude, like, you know, I've always been a good talker. I've always been a good sales guy in that part, dude. But
I mean, that made you who you are, right?
Yeah. So to me, like I said, brother, like I would like to change that in my life, in my kid's life. Why? Because now I have kids. Now I can see where I needed that part. You know, now I can see it when my girls come and talk to me and tell me about certain things, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude, like, I wish I would have been able to tell this to my parents. You know, like, I can tell you up to this day, dude, like, I've never gotten a hug from my dad. I never got a hug from my mom. My mom, my biological mom, you know, she's in Mexico. I don't have that bond that you can say, you know. And when I got here, I never felt like I was part of a family. Why? Because I didn't have any bonds with anybody. Basically, I just grew up on my own. And I tell my wife, I had to create my person. I had to create the person that I wanted to be. Why? Because I feel like I was so hurt. And I tell my wife all the time, like, I had no more tears to drop. Like, I felt like I suffered everything that I needed to suffer when I was a kid. You know, and it's crazy, dude. And I'm going to derail a little bit. Because when my kids were born, I didn't cry, dude. I remember one time we went to a quinceañera, dude. It's crazy, right? So I'm seeing my daughter's probably like 3 years old, dude. And I'm seeing the quinceañera. It actually was one of my wife's cousins. And I see her and the dad dancing. Dude, I started tearing up. It was a feeling, dude, that I hadn't felt in years. Like, I was fucking crying, dude. And my wife looks at me and she's like, what's wrong with you? And dude, I'm crying. Like, I can't stop crying. And I'm like, shit, like, I just had a fucking moment, dude.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like, you know, she's like, yeah, but you didn't cry when you know, the kids were born and this and that. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I guess something really deep just came out, you know?
Yeah.
And after that, dude, oh my gosh, dude, like, I would say that opened a freaking can of worms, because after that, like, little things that my kids do, I get sentimental, dude. And I'm like, dude, I used to be a fucking gangster, dude. Like, what the hell's going on with me, you know? But it happens, dude. It's different. It's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different mindset, dude. Like, to me, protecting my kids means everything, dude. Being able to provide for my kids, it means everything, you know? Like, knowing the fact that they don't have everything, but they have what they need, it's probably the most important thing to me, dude. Like,
Right.
making money that's an extra, dude. Like, I'm winning. Like, I can tell you, like, I'm winning in life. I have my family, I have my kids. And, you know, I can just tell you that it's an amazing life, dude. And like I said, I didn't really believe in God until I was older, dude. And I think that just made a big difference. For you, Andres, how important is your family?
I think what I wanted to add back to the question, the previous question about my dad. So he didn't have any type of relationship with me, but now pretty much I have the choice. So either I repeat that same cycle, or do I break it, pretty much. So I chose to break it, and now I try my best to be completely different with my son. So now every time, so I kiss him every day, I hug him. What my dad, I guess, can't do with me, so now I do it with my son. And like you said, I try to replicate, just try to be the best, pretty much the best role model, the best, involve him and mentor him, teach him what I was lacking. But in a way, I don't like to victimize myself. So my dad did what he could. But now it's on me if I do the same thing or if I change it. And I choose to change it, and I'm grateful for everything, for my dad not being like that, because now that made me who I am right now.
Yeah, because I would say that plays a big role, because it shows you, bro. Like, it shows you and it molds you. Right. I would like to think it in the way where it's like, I'm grateful that I went through that. I am grateful that I was treated in that way, where I was able to build this persona where it's like, you can tell me whatever you want, like, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, and now that like I said, dude, like, now that I'm older, I see it different, dude, because, like, there's certain things that I'm just like, fuck, like, damn. Like, you know, like, it hits.
Yeah.
Like, it hits you different, dude. Like, now with my kids, but like you're saying, you decided to break the cycle, which is amazing, dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with kissing your kids, dude. Like, I kiss my son all the time, you know, and it feels amazing, dude. Why? Because I'm like, dude, like I love this fucking kid, you know, like,
Yeah.
and to me, it's just like I see him doing certain things, and I'm like, dude, he's just as crazy as I am.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
just something different, something you're not used to, but at the
yep,
same time, now that you could do it with him,
yep,
it's in a way, it's kind of like it's kind of healing.
yep,
That it's kind of therapeutical. So
it
now
is.
sometimes I see him and I hug him, I kiss him, and I give him like extra
Yeah,
affection. And in a way, I think part of me is saying like, let's say I give him 10 kisses, 5 are for him and 5 are the ones I wish my dad gave me,
yep,
bro. So, it is what it is. That's what we have. But now I'm working on it, but I'm grateful that I still have my dad. So there's still time for, to heal relationships, to make,
yeah,
you mentioned if I have a certain bond with
yeah,
him. So I don't, but there's still time
yep,
to, to attempt to heal those relationships, to talk it out, to make things better pretty much. So I'm grateful for everything.
yep. So I know that you're the founder of Tire Depot, right? If anyone, let's just say in their 20s, 30 years old, they're having a 9 to 5 job, if they wish to at some point open their own business, right? What will be your recommendation? Let's just say somebody tells you like, hey, Andres, like, I'm tired of my 9 to 5. Like, I have this vision. I want to open this business, but I'm afraid of losing my job or this and that. What will be your recommendation?
Yeah. So I think it's important to having a 9 to 5. I think is very important, very respectable, and I think my advice would be to use that as a base. So keep the job, save up, pretty much save up as much money as you can, and then start slowly to put that idea that you have, whatever field it is, whatever business, and start slowly to do more research about it. I think now we have like
A lot
unlimited,
of
a lot
resources.
of resources. I mean, we got literally YouTube.
Yeah,
You could learn
YouTube,
how to do something in like a
YouTube
weekend, bro.
University.
You could become YouTube certified in like a weekend. No? You do anything. So do a lot of research. Keep the job as
Yeah.
a base, like as a foundation, and like I mentioned earlier, get a mentor, uh, and then take a risk. I think you need to. I think we have a lot of fear, especially in our culture. There's a big there's a there's a big there's a big like stigma with leaving something like
That's stable.
with leaving something that's stable. And the thing with this is that a lot of times it comes from our close circle.
Yep.
So our mom, our dad, brothers, sisters, they're the first to shut you down. You
Yeah.
tell them, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of pursuing this career. Whatever it is. I'm a good artist. I'm thinking of leaving my job. Nah, are you dumb? Like no, like tienes buen trabajo.
Yeah.
Like don't lose this. So a lot of times it's our close circle, our
Yeah.
environment that keeps us down. So that shuts us down, and we kind of forget about it. Just kind of like how it was happening to me. But I think it's important to know that what people say about us is their opinion,
Yep.
and how people see us, it's their perspective. It's not a reality. So
Yep.
don't listen. I would say don't listen to other people, because now we're in the era of just hating. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to go on social media and comment, put people down. So I think you have to accept that other people have their opinions, and other people have their perspectives. So it's cool to let people think it's normal to let,
Yeah.
like, me and you are different. You could see this red, and I could see it burgundy.
Yep.
Like, does that mean that you're wrong, or does that mean I'm wrong? Like, who am I to tell you that you're wrong?
I think it's a big step when you start to kind of just like letting it be like whatever. Like, you know what? If you're saying the sky is red, yeah, the sky is red. Like, I think that is a big step for a lot of us, just because I would say in my perspective, right? I would say that my ego used to be where it's like, if you tell me the sky is red, freaking fight it until I prove it to you that the sky is not red. The sky is blue. Now, I don't care. Like now it's like the sky is red. Yeah, the sky is red.
Right.
I'd rather there be one stupid person than two, dude. And to me, right, what you're saying, I can relate to that because when I was at the bank, I was making six figures, right? And everybody was like, "Oh, you're stupid. Why are you leaving the bank? You have a good position." And I just wasn't happy, dude. Like I literally was not happy. And one day I just said, "I'm out." I didn't even give a 2-week notice. I just said, "Here's my letter. I'm out." You know, and I would say that that was the thing that pushed me because for many years, I had told my wife already, like, I want to quit the bank. I want to quit the bank. Like, and that's the only thing that I knew, dude. Like, literally, like, I've always been really good at numbers. So I just decided to quit, and now I was just like, I'm out. Like, I'll figure it out. I had no idea. I had no plan. But I knew a lot of people, dude. And I think that sometimes speaking about your plans to your family isn't the best idea, dude. I can tell you that. Just because, like you're saying, everybody has an opinion. And not all opinions are good opinions. And sometimes just because, like on my side, right, like my family's so close to each other, like we tend to listen to that.
Right.
And we tend to hold back from doing more things or from risking more, you know? But at the end of the day, dude, I tell everybody this, dude. You don't want to be 50, 60 years old, dude, and you wish you had left that job and started your own business. Like, I thank God for that opportunity. I thank God for the opportunity that the bank gave me because I was able to learn everything and I was able to absorb everything that I needed to absorb. I believe that we're still learning and we have to learn every day. But from that experience, I am where I am now. And I'm just like, dude, like, I am grateful. Why? Because if I would have never left that bank, I would have still been in the same position where I'm depressed, where I have anxiety, dude. Like, I had anxiety at work. And I'm just like,
Wow.
it's ridiculous. I had no life. Literally, my life was the bank, dude. I would say that the first 3 years of my daughter's life, I wasn't present. Like, all I was doing was the bank.
Just focusing on.
Yeah, that was it. Like, oh, I want to grow in this career. I want to do this. And then once I reached the position that I wanted, I'm just like, dude, this is not what I want. Like, this doesn't make me happy. Like, I don't want to be stuck in an office. I love wearing suits. And I'm like, but this is not really something that I see myself doing, you know? And then once I left and I had the taste of freedom, I was like, holy shit, dude, like, this is where I belong.
Yep.
Like, I love doing this. I love going outside talking to people. And I tell everybody, dude, like you said, I have a lot of respect for people that have a 9 to 5. Why? Because you still need to have a 9 to 5 for a lot of people, right? But if you have that dream, chase it. You know, it's like nobody else is going to do it for you. I know a lot of people say, oh, ask God and he'll give it to you. Yes, you have to ask God, right? I'm not sure if you're a religious person, but to me, it's like you cannot just ask and not do your part. I have to be willing to do my part if I want something. I can't just say, hey, God, can you buy me this house? Hey, God, can you buy me this car? No. Like, you have to put in the work.
Right.
And a lot of people get upset when I say that. But to me, it's just like, dude, like, if you want something, go out there and get it. Like, nobody's going to come and offer you a job on your couch. You know, nobody's going to come and say, hey, here's this fucking car, take it.
Yep.
You know, and I'm a strong believer in that, dude. And now that I brought that up, I hate it when people tell me, oh, are you a God-fearing man? I remember one time I went to a client, dude, and she told me, oh, are you a God-fearing man? And I was like, God-fearing? No. She got super mad, dude, because I said that. I was like, why would I fear God? Isn't God love and patience? And then she's just stood. And I'm just like, I was like, I don't do anything that I can think that will push me to have fear towards God. I don't. I was like, I try to be a good man and I try to do what's best for myself and also for the person. But I don't do things in fear. I was like, because I believe that God is love and patience. And as long as I know that I'm doing my part, I shouldn't fear God. And I know, like I said, everybody has a different opinion. There's a lot of people that I can't tell you that I'm religious, dude. But I believe in God, right? I believe in doing what's good and wrong. Because if there's good, there's evil.
Right.
And that is the reality. But going back to you, Andres, where do you see Tire Depot going, like in the next couple years?
Yeah. So, sorry, I wanted to add something
Go ahead.
towards the last one. I think to summarize regarding risk, I think everything in life is risk, bro. Like there's there's nothing guaranteed, like you mentioned. And I could like confidently say that I've done everything in my life. I guess that I've wanted to. I've been able to do it, and no me he quedado con las ganas to do anything, bro. And I don't know how that might sound, but I feel like up to now, I've lived a fulfilling life, like in every aspect.
Yep.
Like whatever, anything. Like you mentioned, I don't want to get to a certain age and regret not doing stuff.
Yep.
So I live my life meeting those goals, those daily achievements, and I set goals for myself, short term and long term, and I make sure to hit them. So I just think it's a good quality of life, being able to achieve whatever you want to do, and pretty much no quedarte con las ganas to do anything, bro. So yeah.
I believe that sometimes, dude, our own mind can screw us sometimes, bro. I believe that sometimes self-doubt, it's probably one of our biggest enemies. Why? Because you have that entrepreneurship mindset, right? Your mind is always working, dude. Like, it could be 1 a.m. and your mind is freaking rolling, dude. And sometimes we instill fear into ourselves. And I believe that learning to overcome that, it plays a big role in where you want to hit in life. Just because sometimes we hold ourselves back. And I do believe that because it's happened to me, you know, and I do believe that taking risk, and the higher risk you take is the higher the reward. Like, that's, you know, I tell that to a lot of people, dude. Like, if you're not willing to take risk, you'll never find out. Tomorrow's never promised, dude. And to me, like you said, like, I believe that up to this point of my life, I've lived the life that I wanted to. And I've given myself the life that I believe that I deserve. Why? Because a lot of people, dude, I can tell you that a lot of people live in the fact that they don't even want to try a $200 steak. Like, they don't want to travel. Right. They don't want to go to another city to fucking try new things. And I'm just like, dude, like, how can you do that to yourself? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, dude. Like, I can enjoy eating a fucking taco as much as I can enjoy eating a $200 steak. Right, and it's like, why? Because at the end of the day, dude, it's like, why wouldn't you do that for yourself?
And then I feel like it's all about experiences, bro. Like, I'm big on.
I know you travel a lot, dude.
Experiences, you know.
Where have you been?
I mean, I try to travel a little bit. I wouldn't say I'm the most experienced, but I try.
Travel guru.
Yeah, I'm not a travel guru, but I mean, I pretty much have been to all the continents.
Yeah.
So I try to travel, and I think I'm heavy on traveling because traveling, I feel like it just unblocks your mind, bro. It's like you seeing, having that culture shock, seeing how meeting other people, seeing how they operate, how everything is different around here. Like, it's crazy how some people stay in one place like their whole lives and don't experience. For me, it's about the experience. So anytime that I could be exposed to a new culture or new people, now it's more. I could also do it. I could do it with business. So now it's more about networking. It's more about exposure and having more of those connections. But I think traveling is. I honestly think it's an investment in yourself because you grow richer as a person.
I know you recently took a business trip, right, to Panama?
Yeah.
How was that? How was that experience?
So it was a convention. That's the first time that pretty much any of us participate in any of that sort. So it was a convention, like an expo. Basically, it's a lot of networking, meeting new vendors from overseas, from Asia, from South America, and other countries. So it's more, basically it's about networking and just more exposure. But it's something that was, like I mentioned, it's just the people you meet. The thing is that there's a lot of things that if you're not there, you have to be there to
experience
it. Yeah, as far as a lot of times you miss out on opportunities because just by not being present. So a lot of times that I've traveled, I've networked and gotten to meet a lot of people just randomly, just because I was there. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't have met them. And a lot of these connections have brought me different connections and different opportunities. And in my mind, I think if I wouldn't have been there, like it just happened randomly, but it took me being there present to have that opportunity. So
I know that you're a very private person, Andres, but would you say that this experience has kind of got you more out there now?
as far as
As
travel?
far as talking to people, as far as
Oh,
meeting
yeah,
new
yeah.
people?
Yeah. So definitely, I guess it kind of helps you to kind of like to meet other people, to share experiences. A lot of times we learn how certain like different methods that other people are doing, that even like overseas and other countries are doing, and we get to kind of just share different like methods and different practices that we do.
Yeah, because this convention was specifically just for the tire business, right?
Right. It was tires and it's the automotive industry.
Oh, automotive industry.
So parts and tires
And
as
tires.
well. Yeah. But it was a new experience that I enjoyed a lot.
And I did see that you got to take your brother. Was it both of your brothers or just one?
So it was all of us. It was the
nice.
three of us. It was the three of us. So that was also something pretty special.
That was amazing. How long was the trip?
It was about 5-6 days.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And the company obviously paid for that trip.
Yeah. So it was, obviously it's a Tire Depot. Thank you.
It was a business expense.
As a business expense.
That's good, man. So Tire Depot's a corporation, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Tire Depot's was it a DBA prior to that, or was it just a corporation from the beginning?
So it was founded, like I mentioned, this year one as a corporation.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is that an S corp or a C corp?
Yeah, it's a S corp.
Nice. That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. So both of your brothers are working for the they're the ones actually on site.
Yeah, so they're the ones spearheading the project, and I'm in the background, but I mean together we're synced with ideas, and we're constantly talking, and it's not easy working with I don't know if you've had the opportunity of working with family, but it's definitely has its challenges. But I think at the end of the day, it's very rewarding, because if you think about it, or at least for me, what better way to like spend your time, I guess, and your energy than working with the people that you love the most.
Your family members, bro.
Dad, they're the closest circle that you have. So I feel blessed that I get to be around them. And I mentioned earlier with my dad, a lot of times I go with him just like on a voluntary basis.
Just to spend
I feel
some
like,
time.
yeah, I'm like, I owe him everything. So so I'm there on my days off. I'm there, like, it don't matter to me. Like, I'm there. He's not the type to ask me like, hey, I need you, come help me. But I feel within me like I owe him, like, him and my mom.
And I know you've been doing carne asadas right there, dude. I know, I seen it. I see it. I'm like, this guy is doing a carne asada at the
That's not
tire
me, bro.
shop.
That's my dad. So my dad has been doing that for like 30 plus years. Wow. Every Saturday, like sin falla. So he's there grilling. Initially he started doing that as kind of for the customers. Yeah. Which was a cool concept.
Yeah, that's
now
amazing,
he just does it to hang out. So, but it's still cool, that's his thing. So I'm not, for a while I was like against it. Yeah. I'll tell him like, hey, like, why are you doing, you're kind of like, I don't know, like it doesn't look professional, like it's kind of like in the middle of all this, and then, but I quickly I let him be, like that's his thing.
I think sometimes you just have to go with the flow, man.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just like, I've been at job sites and we're like, let's just cook some meat, and it's a different feeling, dude. And if he's enjoying that, why not?
Yeah, and then so a lot of things that I didn't really agree with. I guess a lot of like old school practices that he had, but then, so for a while I was actually trying to like change up his business. Yeah. And then, like I mentioned, there was a lot of like
clashing,
bumping heads, and I came to realize like I'm not gonna change his. I'm not gonna change
His ways.
He's been doing this for 35 years. Like I'm not gonna change it. And then also I was like, also who am I to tell him? Who am I to tell him like how to change his? I try to suggest things
Yeah.
to better it, but a lot of times he's just like stuck on his old ways. So that's also kind of how we branched out. And
To do your own
that's
things.
kind of how Tire Depot came about because it was something new, but still in the same circle.
Same concept, basically.
Yeah, same
You
concept,
guys,
but just
you guys were just doing it on a higher level because you
Right.
guys were purchasing a lot more.
yeah, but still working together. I think the unity is very important, and it's always gonna be there. Just being united and being just working together towards the goal. Like at the end of the day, like I never let them down. I'm always like I mentioned, I will work full time, or sometimes even after working whatever how many hours, go straight to the shop. And like to me is without expecting anything. I'm like I mentioned, I feel like it's my duty to give
To be
back to him,
present.
bro. Like to yeah. So I told my brothers too, like, hey, you guys need to
Step it up.
like step it up and put some respect on that name, you know, like kind of like I gotta check them here and there, like, hey, don't like, you know, like don't talk back
Yeah.
or don't do this and that, like, you know,
How old is your youngest brother?
he's 22,
Oh yeah, he's young, bro.
so he's young, but he's very mature for his age. Then the following brother is 20, he's 28, so I mean sometimes I have to check them, sometimes they check me,
Yeah.
so it's just we work together.
That's good. All right, Andres. So I know like we got to meet you a little bit better now, and but what does your morning routine look like? How does that play?
Yeah, I think as far as I think the best morning routine is waking up early and pretty much like winning the day. So I think that the earlier the better. Waking up at 5 a.m., beating the sun. I think it's all about small victories, like little daily
Yeah.
small victories. And I'm heavy on waking up early, 5 a.m. Second, working out first thing in the morning, exercise, whatever, anything, any type of physical
To
activity
get your mind going.
To get your mind going. 3, I think doing some learning, reading, feeding your brain, and just whether it may be like podcasts or I think now it's unlimited, like
Yep.
reading a book. And then 4, I believe that after you do that learning, kind of reflecting and meditating on whatever you learn. So all this is done. All this before 7:30 in the morning, bro. So doing this routine, like laying these bricks, like these fundamentals. How can you have a bad day, bro?
Yeah.
If you already worked out, first of all, you woke up early, you
Yeah.
beat the sun, you're already out. You worked out, you got some mental clarity, you got to meditate, reflect, write down. Now we could do it. It doesn't have to be like traditional writing, but I personally do it. I do it on my notes on my phone. So all this, I try to do everything by 7:30, and I feel like I lay down it's kind of like
The
construction,
essentials.
bro. I lay down the foundation.
Yep.
I got the framing done. How can I go about having a bad day when you have these fundamentals laid out already?
I think that's very important, dude, because a lot of people focus in major goals and major things like, oh, well, I want to do this. And it's like, dude, start by just sitting in your fucking bed. You know, start
Yeah.
by waking up early. Start by going to the gym. I think like you said, dude, small victories are more important. Why?
Right.
Because your mindset is working. Your mindset is pushing already. So dude, for me, I have a mindset where even if I go to sleep at 2 a.m., dude, I'll wake up at whatever time I need to wake up.
Yeah.
Because I already have it in my mind, dude. And it's just like, like you said, it was perfect what you said, dude. Focus on small victories. Do small
Yeah, I
victories
mean,
and just work yourself up from there. You beat the sun, cool, perfect. Now you go to the next thing.
yeah, and that just builds momentum, and
Yeah.
now it's brick by brick, bro. So my mentality is I try to practice delayed gratification. So I'm not really focused on the short term goal. I'm more. I understand that it's a long term game. So like I said, every day I'm putting a brick. I'm putting a brick and I'm building a wall. Right now I'm building my wall. After I build a wall, I'm building a room, building a structure, and then eventually I'm gonna have my castle. But I understand that it takes time, and I've laid certain bricks down, certain foundations of the structure that I want. But I understand that it's a long term game. And I think a lot of people have a problem or a challenge of everyone wants things short term. People start a business, they want to see results
Right
next
away.
month or in 2 months, 3 months. People, whatever, they're used to. I think a lot of people lack discipline of just
Yeah.
doing, like I said, winning the day by day, going day by day, and just practicing that delayed gratification.
I believe that if you have the mindset where if you think that you can open a business and be successful right away, I think you are in the wrong place. Why? Because I believe, like you said, you have to build a business from the ground up. You have to set your foundation. So if you're already going into a business with the mindset where, well, I want to start making money next month, you're already losing. Why? Because you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to know that everything, it takes time if you want to do it right.
Right.
So, like, to me, it's just go in there knowing that you can lose, but also if you do it, you can win.
Right. And to go even further about that, like a mentality that Tire Depot has is no one's winning right now. Everything that's being generated is going back, is being invested in
Yep.
the actual business, whether it be product, inventory,
Payroll.
yeah, payroll, everything. So nobody's getting paid pretty
Yep.
much. So I think if it's important to have everybody synced on that same page
To understand that
to
concept.
understand that from the get go, and that way everyone's on the same page and you progress faster. Because I see a lot of I've heard other stories where people start doing good 6 months, a year in, and right away they go buy that Raptor. They're on it, bro. And like I said, it takes discipline,
Yep.
and it takes that mindset to be, all right, there's money coming in, but I'm not gonna touch it. Like, I'm gonna put all that, like I said,
Back into the business.
yeah, I'm a volunteer, bro. Like, I don't see anything. I put in time.
You're putting in more than what you get.
I put in a lot of time, a lot of work, but I'm passionate about it.
Yep.
So, like I mentioned earlier, I got that switch when I was like about 3 or 4 years. When I embraced the tire business, that's when I had that switch, and that's when it changed. That's when I actually enjoyed helping people out. Pretty much fixing, bringing service to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, because you're providing a solution at the end of the day. dude.
Yeah.
And I know that I've seen you post about the Ultima girls and all that stuff, and I think that's hilarious, dude. Just because it's the reality, bro. Like, a lot of people, they don't change them tires until they're basically run out. So I think it's hilarious that you do that, bro. But at the end of
I'm
the
bringing
day,
awareness, bro. We're bringing. It's all fun and games, but we're bringing awareness to. We're trying to save lives with the no
posting the hoochie mamas with the Ultimas.
bald tires matter. So
I think that's hilarious, dude. At the end of the day, you're in the business of providing solutions, bro. And
Right.
I think that when you have that mindset, which it's amazing, but when you understand that you're there to provide a solution, not to sell anything to anybody, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, dude, you are helping them. Getting them tires changed. Hey, you're avoiding an accident, something big, something major.
Right.
And I love the fact that you're looking at it in that way where you're helping people.
yeah, and to be honest, I like genuinely, I like the tire business, bro. Like, I genuinely like helping people, and I just came to really enjoy
realization.
that process. And another thing that I want to mention is that, along with the delayed gratification, is that to me it's more. I'm not really like money oriented. I don't. My goal is not to make money. I'm more about the process. So I mentioned earlier about that when I would buy cars and flip them, I enjoyed that process, like the whole transformation of it, and seeing like an idea, a vision that you have come to life. So now currently with Tire Depot, I'm enjoying the process like so much. From an idea that I had to purchase containers, wholesale, all that to me is like so intriguing. Like, how do you get this product from, let's just say, from China?
China.
How does this end up in my front door?
Yeah.
Like, imagine all the trajectory that this had to take. Like, who put all these tires in here? Like, how did this come about? So, to me, that's really what I value, is the process. Like, from start to finish. Like, and I'm growing every day. I'm learning. I like to teach what the little that I know that I learned. I like to teach it, and by teaching, I feel like that I'm growing. So this process is very rewarding to me, because I'm starting from with no experience in the wholesale game, and every day we're learning, and we're failing too. Every day we try things and we fail, but it's something that I like. Like, failure leads to growth. So
with that being said, how important do you think financial literacy is in our Hispanic community? To be more specific.
I think it's something that financial literacy is something that, like, coming from our parents and us being first generation, is something that we're not primarily. It's not a focus in our household. So I don't think my dad, like I mentioned, he never. It's kind of like taboo to talk about money. Like, nobody talks about money. You can't even. God forbid you ask about money, because they're like, they'll probably, bro, you'll probably get disciplined, like I mentioned. So I think it's something lacking in our community, especially with the first generation.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that very important that should be taught, and like we mentioned earlier, it's something that we can change now with our children. So I definitely, personally, I have it as a priority for my son. Yeah. I try to. I'm already taking him, just modeling him, modeling with money. I take him to pick up tires. I tell him, hey, go. I explain to him, hey, we're gonna go here. Remember we came here? Yeah, he remembers. Yeah. Like, we're gonna go here. Where do we go? Over there? He points. He knows where it's at. All right, you're gonna give this money. Give it to him. He gives it to him. All right, this paper, give it to him. So I'm guiding him and I'm teaching him as he goes along. I'm gonna keep modeling and keep exposing him to. It's definitely not gonna be a topic that he can't talk about. I'm hoping. My goal with him is for him to feel comfortable talking about it, and just exposing him from a young age. And just my goal with him is for him to be comfortable coming to me about anything. Yeah. Because it's something that I wasn't able to do with my dad or my parents. So now I want to change that with him. Yeah. And financial literacy is definitely a priority.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Again, I want to thank you for having me here. And again, congratulate you on this accomplishment. Well, actually, I want to ask you a question. How long did you have this idea in mind, and how long did it take for you to execute, like, pretty much from the time you got the vision up until, like, it became a reality? Because for me, that's one of the best things I feel like is someone to have a vision in something and, like, making it a reality, like as simple as this, bro. Like having an idea, like, I want to do a logo and put it on a water bottle. And having the finished product to me is like something amazing, like something that I give a lot of credit to. So,
Dude, if my wife can tell you, dude, this was back in 2012 when I had this idea.
wow.
I had this idea since 2012, dude, and I remember when I was working at the bank, I had this mentor, if you can put it in that way, where he told me that if I wanted to make a difference, I should focus in my community. And I told him about this idea, right? I said, I want to be a consultant. I want to get into the business of helping people to manage their finances, helping people to like open new businesses and stuff like that. Like I love doing that. Like if you were to tell me like you come to an idea to me, dude, and you tell me like, hey Victor, I want to open a bakery, dude, my mind starts running.
Wow,
My mind just starts going. Why?
that's
Because
awesome, bro.
I can literally structure it, dude. And to me, I believe that it's a gift, and I believe that it's a gift that I have been wanting to share for the past 12 years, dude. And not until this year when I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to exit the construction business. I want to do something different. And little by little, dude, like I'm molding myself and I'm pushing myself because I've had this idea, dude, and I can tell you that hundreds of people that I've talked to, I've told them this idea. And it's something that I'm passionate about, dude. Like I love talking to people that own businesses. I love talking to people that have one employee, talking to people that have 100 employees.
Yeah.
Like to me, just learning what they know is like, dude, my mind just starts like absorbing everything, dude. And I love that, dude. Like, dude, I can literally register a business with a phone call. I pick up a phone, I can literally do everything from a phone call, dude. Which a lot of people think that it's so complicated to open a business. A lot of people think, oh, well, how do I get this permits? How do I get this? Dude, I can literally just pick up my phone and call somebody and they will take care of everything, which is amazing, dude. That
is amazing. I mean, you could tell the passion you have for it as you're expressing it.
Oh, dude, I love business. Like, I think that the fact that I worked at the bank, it just made that vision bigger. I would say that is what started this vision. Like seeing people that were working under their name to have their business, like, oh, like Perez Construction. And I'm just like, dude, like, don't do that. Don't put yourself in that situation. Make a company. You know, like, it's not as complicated as people think it is, dude. Like, you can literally, I'm sure it didn't take you long to open a corporation.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I mean, the actual, like, the steps are fairly simple.
And like I said, to me, it's just like having something like stratas, right? Like, I think about things, right? I think about the way that I name the business. I think about the way that I want to market the business. I think about all these things, dude. So when somebody tells me like, hey, Victor, I want to open a gelato business. Dude, I can my mind just starts rolling, dude.
The wheel doesn't stop.
And I start telling my wife all these stories, and I'm sure she gets tired sometimes, dude, because I can talk for days, especially about business. When somebody brings me a business idea, and I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Like let's do it. Like, I'm the type of guy, dude, if you were to tell me, like, hey, Victor, like, I have this business idea, this is how much money, we'll need, dude, my mind just starts going, and I start creating a business plan in my head, and I'm just like, all right, cool, I can do this shit, But, like I said, this was a dream since 2012, dude. And I love this process. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories, because to me, it's just like, it's who you are, dude. Like, that's the person that you've built for yourself,
right?
If you really think about it. So to me, when I hear about this, and if I can help you in any way, like, I'm willing to give you that information. And like I said, I have people that call me sometimes and, hey, Victor, I have trouble with my taxes. I have trouble with this. Dude, I kept all my contacts from the bank, so I can literally pick up the phone. I can get a lawyer. I can get a CPA. I can get anybody on the phone, dude. And like I tell everybody, dude, anybody that I call picks up the phone. Why? Because they know if they call me, I'm picking up the phone.
Yeah.
So that's the way you do business, dude. You have to be a man of your word. You have to be.
Bro.
You have to have that mindset where it's like, if you call me, I'm showing up, and it's gonna be taken care of. And that is just the way that I believe. So it's funny because a lot of people tell me, oh, when Victor shows up, just know you're gonna pay the big bucks. Because, hey, dude.
Well, that means that you come through. That means that you're reliable. That you build a name for yourself, and people. I mean, they've learned to respect it, and you have you have a legacy that you build and you keep building.
And I tell my wife all the time, that's why to me, like, my last name, and everybody looks at it different, but to me, my last name is very important. Why? Because my kids carry my last name.
Right.
And to me, it's just like, I want to make sure that they get that mindset where it's like, if I was able to do it, anybody can do it, dude. So to me, it's just like, you cannot hold yourself back.
Right.
So that's why that dream became a vision, and now it's a reality. So I hope to grow this. I hope to meet more people like you. You have an amazing story, bro. And I hope to just be able to expand in that way, because I believe that I want to learn more from people, because I don't know everything. You know,
Yeah.
I have no clue about your business, dude. But just little things that sometimes you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, he told me that he did this and that. Like, you can relate it to now that somebody wants that wants to open that kind of business.
Right. And then, like you said, I mean, we're always here to help.
Yep.
I think every day we're learning, and personally, I get a lot of like gratification from helping people out.
Mm-hmm.
So, in whatever way that I can help anyone, even if it's not even directly related with tires in a way, like I'm always willing to help or even refer someone to in any field and any knowledge that I have. I try to let people know
Share it.
about it. Yeah, share it. But
That's good, bro.
yeah. So with that being said, I brought you just a little gift from Tire Depot.
Nice.
So it's a little T-shirt for you. So
Sheesh, I hope it's my size, bro.
yeah, well, I saw you've been working out, so you'll fit into
Ooh,
it.
nice. So Tire Depot, guys, follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Tire Depot Corp, and I'll have Vic put the other handles.
We'll put the
right there.
links out in the
We'll put
bottom.
links. Yeah,
But check
thank
him out,
you.
guys. Check him out. Go stop by, reach out to him. If you guys have questions in regards to the tire business, or even if you guys need like 20 tires, reach out to Andres.
Yeah, no, anything.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
You, bro.